Even if you are big on simplicity, you will always find a home to your liking. For example, on the side of a cliff, in a tree, or even a cave. It is difficult to imagine life in such places, but people have to live where they live. Hello there, and today I will show you the strangest places people live in. Tribes of reindeer herders in the far north. Hundreds of years ago, Yamal reindeer herders led a nomadic lifestyle and lived in makeshift tents called chum. It is not easy to find them in the tundra. They live far from highways and move from place to place after their herds. This is what a traditional reindeer herder's home looked like. It usually consists of the main chum. Another one is located nearby, which is used for the guest. You can live in it or just spend the night. There is a stove in the middle of the chum. Electricity is always there thanks to the generator, which always moves with the chum from place to place. Some homes even have a TV and a satellite dish. No refrigerators are needed. The fish and venison keep well in the snow around the chum. For water, it is so simple. They melt the snow and boil the water in the saucepan on the stove. Here is a couple who lived in the sewers for 22 years. Address: Medellin, Colombia, a city that is famous for crime and drug mafias all over the world. This happy couple lived in the sewer, and despite the lack of many amenities, they are quite happy with life. Maria and Miguel found shelter here 22 years ago and still live here to this day. Their apartment is 700 square feet, which is in principle quite good, but the height of the room is not large enough, so it will not work to walk standing straight up. The couple does not believe they need to change anything in their lives. They have already done everything to make this ordinary sewage system a cozy family nest for them. The dwelling is modest, but just think, they managed to place a bed, a wardrobe, and a stove here. Despite such harsh conditions, Miguel does not want to change this house to the one offered to them by the state. The Colombian explains his reasons honestly. If I live there, I will have to take on a dozen responsibilities. For example, I will have to pay rent for an apartment, pay taxes, and will not be given food stamps. So, it's better to stay here. Life as a hermit. 80-year-old Pedro Luca from Argentina has been a local celebrity. Tourists and school children come to see him, and all because this strange man has been living in a cave for 40 years. Pedro does well without running water or electricity. When he is hungry, he takes a gun and goes hunting or goes down to the nearest village, which is 3 hours away. He goes down to the stream to get water, and he considers it the purest and tastiest in the world. Together with the hermit, he has 2 goats and 11 birds that live in the cave. During the day, the animals graze, and in the evening, they come home in search of protection from jaguars and other predators. His feathered neighbors in the apartment wake Pedro with loud screams at 3 o'clock in the morning. He starts his day by making a fire. He has a battery-powered radio, and this is his only technology. He spends a lot of time walking the steep slopes. Pedro says that he has dreamed of living in harmony with nature and away from civilization since childhood. For the first time, the hermit left his village at the age of 14 to travel and earn money, transporting coal to Bolivia. Then he returned to his native place and began to live in this cave. Over the years, this has made him a local legend. Hermit of Lake Galley. Willard Kitchener MacDonald has lived the life of a hermit for nearly 60 years. To avoid fighting in World War II, he went into the forest of Nova Scotia. And although Canada announced an amnesty to deserters in 1950, MacDonald feared going to prison for his crime. He remained in the forest for the rest of his life. Once a month, he went to the store to buy supplies. He made some money by catching animals and selling their skins for fur. This man has lived most of his life in a shack, but over time local activists have found money and built a house for him. But MacDonald soon returned to his hut. He has lived the life of a hermit. The remains of a man were found in the forest in June 2004. About 100 people attended his funeral. His ashes were scattered along the shores of Lake Galley, in the place that he called home for most of his life. the home of a real hobbit. Emma Orbach, an Oxford graduate, has been living in a dugout in the mountains of Western Wales for about 20 years. The daughter of a wealthy musician and mother of 3 children, chose life in a hut rather than comfort within the city. Living conditions here are quite extreme. There is no electricity, no running water, no lights, and no TV. There is no sink or toilet either. Emma pulls water from a stream every day, chops wood, grows vegetables, and runs a household. She has 7 chickens, 3 goats, 2 horses, and cats. Emma's ex-husband and their grown children live in ordinary city houses. Their family began in the 1990s. They were hippies, and together with their children they moved to a building of the former granary. But over time, Emma felt that this was not enough, so she moved to this dugout. Her husband could not stand to be in such unity with nature, so the couple divorced. The most populous island on the planet. The San Bernardo Archipelago in Colombia is a group of a dozen tiny islands. The smallest is Santa Cruz del Islat. It is hard to imagine, but the population of 1,250 people are located on the territory of 2 football fields. It is the most populous island in the world. The island is a mass of tiny, mostly one-story colorful houses that are linked by a maze of narrow streets and alleys. Literally every foot is occupied. For the population, there are 2 shops, a school, a restaurant, and a disco for all ages. Most of the residents work on other islands as hotel attendants or tourist guides. The rest are engaged in fishing. Sea Land. A retired British major founded his state on a platform at sea. During World War II, this platform served as a fort and was called the Ruff's Tower. In general, there are many such forts, but it was with this platform that a small incident occurred. It ended up outside the territorial waters, which means that it was virtually no one's. Major Bates took advantage of this. He proclaimed himself king of this platform, his small independent state, and named it Principality of Sea Land. No matter how crazy Bates's antics seem, and no matter how small the water fortress looks on the world map, Sea Land really turned out to be a real mini country. True, the local population can be counted on one hand, and the total area of the platform is no more than 0.0015 square miles, but Sea Land has everything that any state should have. There is a flag, a coat of arms, an anthem, a constitution, as well as a government of its own, a state system, constitutional monarchy, and even a prison. With collectible postage stamps, coins are issued, and of course, all residents of the Wonderland have identity cards. Would you like to live in such a personal kingdom? At least for a little while? And that's all for today. Which of these places surprised you the most? Write your opinions in the comments. And of course, don't forget to put like if you like this video. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.